Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Grisafi.
And I'm Sarah Gaston. I don't know why I have to say it like that. Anyway, today we just want to take some time to talk to you about what we think is probably going to be the new normal for auditioning in the foreseeable future. So, in our first half, we're going to talk a little bit about self taping, and then in the second half, we're going to talk about what it's probably going to be like when you were back in the audition room. And I've already touched on the self-taping in another video that I have on my YouTube channel. So if you want a lot more detail, you can go there and check that out. But in the meantime, take it away, Joe.
So, everybody watching is probably at least familiar with self-taping. Watch Sarah's video. She goes into some detail about that. But we're going to touch on some things that are important to remind you of.
Yes.
Namely, the video quality has to be good when you self-submit these things.
Yeah, can you be a little bit more specific about what that means?
I sure can.
Okay,
that
good.
includes proper lighting, proper compression. When you reduce the file size, you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. The lighting is critical. It also means don't backlight your video. That means having the light source behind you where the shadow is cast on your face. And I've seen that on several self-tape auditions, and sometimes you just can't even turn those into the client.
Yeah, because it looks like you're in a witness protection program. Hi, I'm Jane Doe, and I'm with XYZ Agency.
Right. The audio quality is very important. Now, some cell phones give you pretty good quality of audio with the built-in microphone.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But you may notice on some cameras, when you just use the in-camera microphone, you hear the whole room.
Yeah.
And you sound far away, even though you might be 3 or 4 feet away from the camera. So invest in a good microphone. Do some research. There's a link below in the description for the microphone we're using, which we've had very good luck with.
Yes.
It's been very good. And we just touched on lighting and the file size. So those are some things you got to look out for.
Yeah, some of the things we were talking about that we wanted to share are sort of some no-nos that we've seen. So Joe mentioned the backlighting, and sometimes just like pay attention to the background. I've seen videos where there's like way too much of the body showing, like the framing cuts you off mid-thigh, and typically a self-tape, they're pretty specific. It's, mid-chest to top of head with very little headroom. So this is headroom, right? So if I have a bunch of headroom and there's just empty space and that's half my video, right? It doesn't really highlight me. So things like that just make your tape look not real great. The other thing is just not having a really clean background. If there are too many distractions, the casting director, whoever is watching, is going to be looking at, oh, look at that crown molding, and they're not going to be looking at your audition maybe as much.
Right. And if you use your phone, use it horizontally.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Yes.
The vertical phone auditions just don't cut it. They look amateurish.
Yeah.
And it may get kicked back or not even turned in by your agent if it's recorded that way.
Yeah. Yep.
This is funny. It's funny to me. It's not funny to the actor who did this.
Tell
But
me. I want to hear this.
I've seen a lot of self-taped auditions when I've been casting, and I've seen a lot of bad ones. I've probably seen more bad and mediocre ones than I have good ones. And one stands out. And I did have to call this guy's agent and say, you have to have him redo this.
Oh, wow.
He shot himself on a green screen, which is not all bad there, but he was reading for the part of a newscaster, television newscaster. So he swapped that green background for a newsroom and put a desk in the image and tried to pretend like he was sitting on the desk, and it didn't work. And I had to call this actor's agent and say he wasted his time. He has to redo this without all that nonsense. So don't embellish it. Just like Sarah just said, have a plain and simple background. We're not looking for you to
You're not filming the film. You're filming an audition.
We want to see you and your face. We don't care what's we don't want to see a busy background. We don't want any distractions. For creative people, we deal with a lot of people who get distracted very easily.
That's a whole other story.
So yeah, keep the background very simple.
What's over there? Yeah.
You are probably going to have a callback using Zoom or Skype or similar service.
So here's the other thing. and I say this because I've been doing a lot of Zoom lately. First of all, whatever platform they want to use in their callback, download it and test it the day before. Make sure that the passwords work. Make sure that you don't need to make any adjustments. You don't need to download anything additionally. It can take a while if you're not really familiar with it, and those sites crash, so you may try to get on and then something happens and you have to get back on. So you don't want to leave somebody waiting around, so be sure and download it the day before. Please figure out how to use it. Figure out where you're going to set your laptop so they're not looking up at your nose hairs. Figure out, again, how to light yourself so that the light is coming on your face and you're not backlit. You don't have an Iron Maiden poster in the background. I mean, nothing wrong with Iron Maiden. I think I saw them in concert, but you get my point.
And you bring up something. What if
I brought up several
you did,
things.
and I'm going to touch on two things, but you mentioned Iron Maiden in the background, and I'm not specifically referring to Iron Maiden now, but something similar. What if you did have an Iron Maiden poster in the background and the person watching your audition or holding the callback was not a heavy metal fan? I mean, like they might be more religious and think of that as the devil's music or something. That can certainly affect
that's true.
the audition.
Yeah.
And you mentioned nose hair and placing the camera where it's looking up your nose.
Hello, everyone.
You need to find the position that makes you look the best.
Yeah.
You may need to buy a little tool, a little tripod, a little stand. You got these bendy camera holders where you can put them on the shelf on a pole or something.
Yep.
So find out what angle works best for you and start getting used to setting up your phone or your camera.
Right.
When you do these
or
Zoom
your tablet, whatever you're going to be using. And the other thing too, make sure you have a secure Wi-Fi connection. So for me, that means bringing my laptop into my living room next to my router. In fact, I just ordered an Ethernet cable so that I can make my Wi-Fi more secure. And when I say secure, I don't mean from, bandits, just mean more stable, right? So that I don't have those hiccups and interruptions, because after a while, when there are too many technical difficulties, people just kind of want to give up.
Yep. And the quality of your internet connection is critical. That goes back to the quality of the video.
Right.
If you have a very spotty, pixelated video image when you're trying to do a live audition, a live callback online, you don't look good and you don't sound good.
Yep.
So make sure you have all that connected. You have all that set up.
Yep.
And like Sarah said, you need to learn how to use all these resources, all these what do you call them?
I just would call them platforms.
Yeah, all these platforms like Zoom and Skype, and even Facebook has one now. Any of these video conference systems, you need to learn how to use.
Chat.
They are going to use the one that they want to use, whether you're familiar with it or
Yes.
not. You can't say, well, I'm more familiar with Skype. Can we use that? No, sorry.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah. You can't go, can you FaceTime me? Yeah. No, it doesn't quite work like that.
It's their call, what system, what service they use.
Right.
Now, let's say we get back and have some in-person auditions.
What? Hallelujah.
Things are going to be very different for a while if we do get back in the room.
Yes. No more hugging the casting director.
Right. One of the big things that I see happening is we're going to be seeing fewer people in a day.
Yeah.
In the past, normally we might see 80 to 100 people.
Right.
Sometimes more.
Yeah, you can't have a crowded waiting room anymore. Right. So
we can't have a crowded waiting room. We have to spread people out, so there's maybe 2 or 3 waiting, maybe just 1 or 2 waiting at a time. We don't know yet.
Right.
But that means
you can't come early or late. Right, because then you're going to crowd up the room. Sorry to jump in there, but
that's okay. No, that's right.
You know what that happens.
We're going to see fewer people in a day. We're going to spread them out in the schedule. So that means where we may have been seeing 80 to 100 people in a day in the past, it might be 30 or 40 in a day now.
Yeah.
So that means fewer actors get in the room. Fewer actors get a live audition.
Which means you better show up.
You better show up. As a rule, we count on 10% of the actors not showing up on any given audition day.
If you've confirmed for an audition, you should show up, because guess what? You've taken a spot from somebody else.
So here's what I think would happen is the casting director can now only see 30 to 40 people in a day. Mm-hmm. He or she may not have extra days to see more people.
Yeah.
So if I were in that position, I would call people I knew I could rely on.
Right.
And if you don't show up for this new new world audition,
Right, right.
you may not ever get to come back, because if we don't turn in our people, the client doesn't think we did our job as casting directors.
Yeah, that's a true story. Yep.
Yep. And another thing that I think could happen is fewer new actors are going to get an opportunity to be in a live audition.
Yeah.
If we don't know that we can rely on you, we may not call you. That doesn't mean you're not reliable. That just means we don't know you yet.
Right. Yeah. And I'm already hearing more and more, like, no more crowd scenes, fewer co-stars, fewer guest stars, because it's just easier and safer to keep people far apart the fewer people that you have. So it's actually going to get kind of tough for us for a while, I anticipate.
No, I think you're right.
So really, now more than ever, you want to be on your A game, because if you're one of those lucky people who gets an opportunity, oh my gosh, show up and do your absolute best, whether it's virtual or whether it's live.
Yes, and the technology that goes into your self-tape audition is going to affect your performance, or how it's perceived.
Well, how it's perceived, yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
You may not do a dynamite audition, but if they can't hear you very well, or the video's not very good, it could be tough for them to make a decision, or they might just move on to the next one that they can actually see.
Yeah.
Because it is a hassle to go back and ask actors to retape.
Yeah,
for
it
technical reasons.
It is. And here's the thing. We're not saying invest in, $1,000 worth of camera equipment. A lot of this can be done, like with your phone and with, honestly, with table lamps if you have to. Again, refer back to my video. But the thing is, you don't want to be careless about it. And I think that's the thing that I see is that it's one thing to tape on your phone. It's another thing to be just kind of sloppy and haphazard about it. So, it's great technology that you can make a movie on your phone, right? So,
yeah.
and here's the thing, you're just going to have to figure out how to do it. And I know a lot of people like me are technophobes, and it freaks me out having to learn all that new stuff. But I just, I'm here in 18 months right now. So, pull my collar. But I think the quicker you can kind of make peace with what we are probably looking at, the more prepared you're going to be when it happens.
Right. You don't want to be caught off guard and have an audition tomorrow with all these requirements, and you need to learn how to use this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to be sure you've got time now to practice. Get your phone out.
Yeah.
Find out what part of your house looks best. Which window gets you the best light. What time of day. Right. I've seen some really decent and good auditions that people did in their car because they had no other choice. They had to turn something in fast.
Right.
And I've seen some bad ones done in the car too. You need to find out where the light hits your windshield, for example.
Find your light, people.
Yes, find your light.
Find your angles. And by angles, I don't mean like my good side or my bad side, but again, we don't want to look at your nose hair, and we don't want you like looking down at us. I mean, there's just, make sure whatever you're looking into is at eye level so that you're not doing weird contortion-y things.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy a little $3 or $4 suction cup camera holder, phone holder, to slap on your windshield, to stick on your window, and make this thing work.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And, by all means, order it online and have it delivered. We don't want you to go out to the store if you don't need to.
Yeah, everything we're talking about, everything you need, you can get online.
Yep.
So that's about it.
All right.
Let me see here. We're going to be seeing fewer people, be on time. 10% of actors typically don't show up to an audition. That is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Because like
Even
Sarah
after
said,
they've confirmed.
They confirm and then they don't show up, and when they don't offer an excuse, we don't hear from them.
And here's the thing, casting directors, like velociraptors, remember.
Yes. Well, I think that's all we've got for today. Anything else you want to add?
Stay safe, wash your hands, be well. We love you. We want to see you soon in real time. Air hug.
Yes, we hope to see you in person very soon.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Like the video if it's helpful. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channels. We really appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, if you have anything you want us to follow up on or to answer in a video, please put them in the comments, okay?
Absolutely. We want to support you.
All right. Thank you all very much for watching.